You kind of know if you're working with Jim, it's going to be a groundbreaking movie.
If I could just have everybody's attention for a second. This is kind of a pinch me moment, and we're actually getting to make this movie.
Frankly, it's thrilling to be working with Jim again, to be in the first movie he's wanted to do since Titanic.
It's a dream project. You know, this script, the first draft of it was written 12 years ago, and we didn't start on the film then because, frankly, the visual effects guys told me I was mad to even try.
We knew that what we were about to do was significantly beyond what had already been done. We were way out in the unknown, but that's cool. I mean, that's where I like to be.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody for what it's taken to get to this moment. So thanks, everybody. And action!
And there's the guy who did Aliens,
Terminator.
This.
T2, True Lies, Titanic.
He's created massive, massive movies.
On this film, it's pushing the envelope, and it's all just incredible and things that have never been done in filmmaking.
I started writing the film in '95, and it had all the characters in it and creatures and settings, but at the time, it turned out that it wasn't possible to do what I wanted to do.
In 2005, Jim said, I think we're close enough where if we could push the technology and tell this story that we always wanted to tell.
I got it out and dusted it off and read it and said, you know, that's not too bad a story. I'd make a movie that I'd want to go see.
I've been in cryo for 5 years, 9 months, and 22 days.
Jake's on a really interesting journey.
Jake's a wounded former Marine, and he gets given the opportunity to go to Pandora.
Your brother represented a significant investment.
Since your genome is identical to his, you could step into his shoes.
An avatar is a remotely controlled body, which is the DNA of the alien, DNA of me mixed together. You're placed into a link.
Just relax and let your mind go blank.
And my thoughts and personality is channeled into a synthetically grown avatar.
Jake, can you hear me?
A recon Marine in an avatar body. Oh, that's a potent mix.
Run!
I want you to learn these savages from the inside. I want you to gain their trust.
Through a series of circumstances, he meets Natiri.
You should not be here.
There's something about this avatar that absolutely captures her attention.
I need your help.
He gets dropped into this situation, and you've just added a catalyst. Something's gonna change.
Haven't gotten lost in the woods, have you?
Forget what team you're playing for?
They've sent us a message that they can take whatever they want. But we will send them a message that this is our land!
Well, we were creating an entire world from scratch. So you get a number of world-class artists. I mean, really the top people, the people that, you know, I'm an artist, so I wanted to find people that impressed me.
Pandora is more of a jungle planet, but everything is amped up. Mountains are huge, waterfalls are epic, and a whole bioluminescent jungle.
Outstanding.
We like to get as much reference around because those are what motivate you to come up with these fantastic designs.
Looked a lot at various regions of China, such as the Guilin area and the Zhangjiajie area, because they have these really dramatic limestone formations called karst formations. For like the smaller things, we would reference a lot of exotic flowers and just really play up the scale of those to where they're 10, 20, 50 times larger.
Pandora is a planet that has elements of beauty, but watch your step because it's a very deadly place.
The planet is filled with dangerous flying creatures and all kinds of beasts that have some kind of resemblance to things we know and avoid on Earth.
We're working with the design team and figuring out how these creatures really move, how they breathe, and how they screech. And then there's a lot of ground creatures. These creatures all have 6 legs. They all kind of move differently than the terrestrial creatures we're used to on Earth, so we're kind of developing a language for how they move.
You guys are packing some heavy gear.
Yeah, that's because we're not the only thing flying around out there. Or the biggest.
You've got great kick-butt military hardware.
They have to protect themselves from this dangerous planet.
Have some extremely effective warships, Scorpion, the Samson helicopter, the Dragon, and the AMP suit. It's basically guerrilla warfare.
We've a variety of military weapons, a pump-action shotgun, the machine gun, and flamethrowers.
Good shooting days.
The number of animals, the number of creatures, the number of vehicles, it just doesn't have a precedent.
You should see your faces.
We've got roughly 25 sets worked out. We've got something like 40,000 square feet of floor area, plus the rainforest. Another 10,000 square feet, so they're quite big numbers.
Twitter Workshop was our main props maker, and they have done a lot of fantasy stuff, Lord of the Rings and Narnia, and so this is all made from scratch.
Over the last year and a half, we created specialty props, weaponry, costume design for the world of Avatar.
There's 120 racks of clothes here. There's thousands of costumes. We've got the best team on the planet. Yeah.
All right, let's turn up the heat.
Talk about the casting for Avatar. We wanted the best actors for the roles.
We spent months and months and months looking at people all over America, all over England and Ireland, and putting people on tape all over the world.
Get a phone call going, look, Jim Cameron wants to fly you to LA to audition for him. I was snowboarding at the time. I said, I've got to get down off the mountain first.
They will be here soon. Everyone must go, or you're gonna die.
It was a stretch from the usual auditions of ordinary roles because you're playing a creature from a different planet.
I just want to say thank you.
Don't thank. You don't thank for this.
The big discovery on this film in the early days was that it was very important to cast somebody who looked the way you wanted your character to look. Well, what we found is that it was much more difficult to capture the fine nuances of expression when the performer didn't match the character.
Wasn't casting only voices. It was casting a certain level of physicality and interaction.
People literally laughed when I was explaining that Zoe had to train for months because they thought, well, why would you have to do that for an animated film? Well, it's not animated. It's captured performance. So every bit of the physicality of her character, and this applies to all the other that are Na'vi or avatars, everything had to be created by them.
It was very important for us to put all of our actors through a training regimen that was specific to their characters. We had them work with archery experts. We had them learn to ride horses.
To say we did a lot of training is an understatement.
I was wanting to do a film where I was physically challenged, not only mentally. I wanted to incorporate my body.
Action! Action.
Action.
It's good.
I can hit your ass with one phone call!
You are wrong.
Unask this man from the area and get that compound loaded.
So far.
Let's reset.
Gonna shoot me?
You want that?
You better muzzle your.
Stop listening to it.
Parker, this is bad. Those trees were sacred to the Obatekai in a way you can't even imagine.
Oh, you know what? You throw a stick in the air around here, it's gonna land on some sacred
I'm
bird,
not
for Christ's
talking
sake.
about some kind of pagan voodoo here. I'm talking about something real, something measurable in the biology of the forest.
Which is what exactly?
Since the deal can't be made, it gets real simple. Hey, thanks, Jake. I'm getting all emotional. I might just give you a big sloppy kiss.
We have to talk
Yeah.
like rational people.
Well, I cherish that,
No.
but unfortunately, you're out of here tomorrow on the next shuttle. All of you.
I'm shutting down the Avatar program. Effective now. These gentlemen will escort you to get your personal effects. Good.
And cut. Pretty good. Pretty darn good. Action!
Background!
And action!
Background!
And action! Wide. Here we go. And action. High looking low for targets. Actually look though. Actually look at things. Boy, I feel triumphant. All right, I'll do it like this. I'll do crane and action. All right? Then just go on action. That's what it's going to do for real. I want to get the very first line of the scene. This first thing that's happening is this spinning disc is dismantling the building and throwing rocks at 60 miles an hour at your head. You're trying to get that way and get undercover behind stuff, get down, cover up, and get to where you can breathe. We're overlapping that part. Then it's going to stop. It's going to get quiet for a moment. And then some people are just coughing, hacking, wheezing, and or injured. And a couple of the soldiers are going to go for the guns, stand up to shoot, at which point we're going to cut because we're not actually going to do the squibs on them. Okay?
The focus for us is way to digital to make everything that you can't do practically. So basically, if it doesn't exist in the real world, we'll make it here. 2/3 of the movie will be done digitally. A lot of the live action component will still have some digital pieces added to it.
Jim was able to push Weta to break down the traditions of standard visual effects where everything can be perfect and to make something imperfect, and that's what makes it cinematic.
Incredible the scope of what we're doing because we're creating a new world of an unprecedented scale. This is going to another planet and living life on that planet and seeing what it would be like to be in these forests among these people. There's so many pieces that have to come together. A lot of the pieces individually would have been possible to do over the last several years. But to integrate everything into something this vast with this scope takes a whole nother level of thinking about how you're going to pull that off and what you really need to do to make it work.
We just sit there in dailies with our eyes wide saying, I can't believe this. This is incredible. I've never seen anything like this before.
Fire.
If Pandora is to be a believable, unique world, the visuals alone cannot do that. The sound design has to be the complement to that.
Working with Jim, he always focused on telling story, and all aspects of the film come to play there, and sound is a big component of that. I've been working on the film, creating sounds, building a library for the editors to cut the picture with, recording raw sounds, and with those sounds, creating new sounds so that while the sound that we've created may have originated from an animal or a helicopter or a jet fighter plane, we manipulate it in such a way that it becomes something unique to Avatar. This jungle is so saturated with colors and things floating in the sky that you've never seen before. It just gives license to use sound in such a way to bring this world to life and help tell the story by doing so.
This movie is a tremendously large-scale film. And the music needs to have a feeling of emotion and epicness. I think that certainly was at the core of Titanic and is very much at the core of this movie.
And it was important that James's score evoke that sense of music belonging as part of the culture.
So there are two scores running simultaneously. It's just one score represents the Na'vi world of sounds, and then there's a traditional score on top of that to drive the film.
The story is so original and really beautiful and epic.
One of the things that I'm always going to take with me is the fact that I was a part of a revolutionary experience in Hollywood.
Once you see the 3D, it blows you away. You're lost in the world. There's no screen anymore.
We were always trying to push the envelope. This time we were trying to push the envelope, and it pushed back. And then we pushed harder, and it took a long time, because it doesn't look like anything you've seen before.